Hello, thank you for joining me tonight with Painting with Harold. Uh, what I have here is an 8 by 10 canvas that we just going to do a little practice painting on, something a little quick and simple. And it's already got even thin coated liquid white. And 8 by 10s in the Bob Ross easel with the screws in it don't like to fit. Now you can take these out when you're using these. But what I've done is just found me some wooden blocks and placed in between the screws, and those hold my canvas in place. Uh, like I said, I got out very little paint, but my colors are titanium white, phthalo blue, mountain color, Van Dyke brown, burnt sienna, or dark sienna, sap green, cad yellow, yellow ochre, Indian yellow, alizarin crimson, and bright red. And with that said, we'll jump right in with a 1-inch brush, and we'll go in, pick us up a little blue on the brush, just tap it in, get it even across the bristles, and we'll come right up to the canvas. Now painting on an 8 by 10 canvas is totally different world. Everything happens so fast, you got to be kind of careful because it's such a small area to work with. But if all you're doing is some practice type stuff, you can buy 10 of these in a pack at Hobby Lobby for $13. So that puts you at like $1.30 for a little practice canvas, which is rather cheap in my opinion. Just $1.30 for something to play around with. Alright. All we're doing is just adding us a little phthalo blue here to make us a sky. Then we'll go back and lightly blend that out. Just real light. I don't think we're going to have any water in this painting today. So what we'll do down at the bottom is we'll go back up and we'll pick us up a little Van Dyke brown on the same brush, even with the blue in it. Don't even worry about cleaning it out. And just come across the bottom and just brush the Van Dyke brown on. Just get it darker down at the bottom. And then once you go to working up with it, it'll lighten up. Once it goes picking up that liquid white, it'll lighten up toward the horizon. And once you meet your blue, you can just kind of back off of it. And then instead of coming back down here, going back up, take you a clean paper towel and knock some of that color out. And then start in your light area and just blend right back down. And just like that, we're done with that. Now, this brush is kind of getting contaminated on us, but we can still use it a little later on in the painting, so we'll hang on to it for now. Alright, we'll pick us up a small fan brush. Just I think this is the number 3. No, that's the number 6. We want the number 3. We want this one. We want the little number 3. And we'll take that right into some titanium white. Load the brush up real good on both sides. And we'll just come across our sky here, making little circles. Just little circles. Just keep the brush moving. And if you go running out of paint, just get you some more. Just like that's about all you need. Just a little cloud across the sky. And we can bring another one in here. Just another little Just another little cloud. In fact, we'll run him all the way off the canvas. And I think this will be enough clouds for this painting. Alright, we'll lay this to the side for now. We'll use the same brush that we were using with the brown and the blue on it. And we'll come up and we'll lightly blend the bottom out. Just very lightly blend the bottom. That's all you got to do. And then lift it up. And then very gently blend out those brush strokes. And then just like that, we have some little clouds in the sky. Alright, now we're going to do us a mountain, but we're going to do a mountain different today. Today we want a distant mountain. We want it to look like it's kind of sitting further back than normal. So we're going to go into our titanium white. We're going to bring us some up here. And we're going to go into our mountain mixture, just a little bit of it. And we'll bring that mountain mixture up here and mix it with that titanium white. And what we're looking for is it's going to kind of gray up a little bit. Alright, now in that color, we will add just a little bit of the alizarin crimson. Just a little. And all we want is just enough to know that it's in there. And what you're going to end up with is a gray color. And when you add the alizarin crimson, it's not really enough of it to turn it a lavender, but it's enough of it that you can tell that you added it. But that's what you want. You want that gray color. And to make this mountain, pull it out as flat as you can get it, which is always important. Cut across and get you a little roll of paint and come up almost to the top of your canvas, just a little off center, maybe to the left or to the right. That's entirely up to you which side. I'm going to the left. Alright, and we're going to make us just a little peak like that, and we're going to pull this mountain kind of straight down. We're not going to carry it off to the side. And then we'll come on this side, and we want to kind of do it the same way. Now, when you get almost to the bottom of that one, pick you up just a little bit more paint, and you can come out here on the outer edge and just kick you up another little mountain part there. I don't even know what it's called. Just a little kick out, and then come in and really scrape all this paint out best you can. All you're really concerned with right now is that outer edge. You want to keep it clean and straight. All right. When you clean your knife off. Now the brush that we were using, that we did the brown and blue with, and then we blended out the clouds with it, that 1-inch brush, we're going to use it again right here. We're going to come into our mountain, and we're going to pull that color down. Just pull it down. That's all we're doing. Just pulling it straight down, all the way across. Just pull it straight down. just like so. Just like that. That's all we're looking for. Then we'll knock that color out of the brush. I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and wash it this time. Drop it in the thinner. Then I want to go back up and pick us up a little more white and bring it down. Pull it flat as we can get it. Cut across and get that little roll of paint. Then we want to come up and just barely touch. You know the story with the mountains. We just want to barely touch to where this color break. Sounds like the dogs is wearing my wife again tonight. Them little dachshunds will do it. They are a handful. They get outside and they love to adventure around. and we don't want them to because there's bigger dogs in the neighborhood. We don't want them to get attacked because they think they're lions, but they're not. That's all we're doing right here is just touching and pulling and letting a little of that color break. Letting a little of that white break through. And now I think I've done a couple videos on how to do these without a knife. And you know, if you prefer doing mountains without a knife, well, by all means, that's the way you should do them. You know, try not to ever get caught into a routine of doing something a certain way because you think that's the only way it can be done, because it's not. Alright, we'll pick us up a little phthalo blue. We'll bring it in here. Mix it up with our white. Get us a shadow color. We'll leave it kind of marbled, where it ain't 100% mixed. Then we'll come in here and we'll touch our color. We'll come across and start down. Just barely touch. Just light touch. We sneak in here and add us a little color. Just barely touch. Let that paint break. That's all there is to it. Just like that. And then once you do that, if your white don't look the way you want it to, you can always go back up and pick you up a little more white and get you a little roll and come back up to your blue and just touch it and pull it over. Now you can use this technique right here to make complete new peaks and everything. But as far as the mountain goes, that's about all we need today, because we're gonna come forward in this painting. Alright, now we will take another 1-inch brush and we'll come up and just very lightly tap the bottom of the mountain, going up into it to where it's just diffusing the bottom. You don't want to destroy anything. You just want to kind of diffuse it a little. Just stay in the direction that you're coming down your angle. Just keep it in that direction. You don't want to come across here flat, you know, That wouldn't look right. Alright, once you get that done, just lightly pull up to get rid of those brush strokes. And then you can come in here and just lightly blend out the bottom. And that'll give you a little layer of mist down at the bottom of that mountain. Which is what pushes it back when you put some trees in front of it. Which is what we're going to do next. We're going to use that fan brush that we did the clouds with. We'll run it in the thinner right quick. Knock some of that paint out. Kind of dry it off here. Now we'll go back into our mountain mix. And we'll pick us up a little of the sap green and just mix those two colors together. Now in this painting I kind of got an idea about what it is I'm trying to do here today. So I'm not 100% sure, but I'm semi-sure. Alright, so we're going to come right up and we're going to just tap straight down with our fan brush. Just touch the canvas and tap straight down. Now a lot of people refer to these as tappy trees. And that's a real good name for them because all you're doing is tapping. You're just bringing that brush up, if you can see that on camera, and just tapping. That's all you're doing. And that's it. Just tapping them in. And while you're tapping them in, just try to keep in mind as you're coming across here that you don't want them all the same height. You want some kind of taller than the others because that'll help with the illusion of distance. Now, same brush that we used to diffuse the bottom of the mountain, we're going to tap just a little bit of white on our brush, and we're going to come up and just start tapping across the bottom of these trees that we just made. And we want to try to put a little mist at the bottom of them. And that's a pretty firm process right here. I'm not being gentle here like I was earlier. I mean, this, you can hear that sound like a drum. Dum, 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 dum. Then you come in and just blend out the bottom and very lightly lift up. And then that'll give you another little layer of mist, which is going to be our separator for the next layer. Because our next layer, we're going to go into a little of the Van Dyke brown and tap it right on the brush, and a little of the dark sienna. Tap it right on that same 1-inch brush, and a little of the sap green. And we want to tap all these colors on the same brush. Then we just want to kind of come across here and just lightly tap. Just lightly tap. And you can see how I'm doing that. I'm going up in places and down in others, and I'm not killing all that mist. That mist is your separator. And all I'm doing here is just making a little row of bushes across here that kind of just sit in front of those trees. But now you can still see that mist, and that mist makes them look like they're further back, like they're behind the And then just like that, you can knock that color out of this 1-inch brush. And you can either, at this point, you can either clean that brush, or, you know, I'm using a couple different brushes because I've got a couple different ones. If you don't have extra brushes, by all means, clean them. You know, I like to knock the color out of it before I carry it to the thinner, because by doing that, it don't muddy up your paint thinner as much. Excuse me. And we'll knock the paint out, or the thinner out, get it dry. We'll take it, just dip it a little bit of thinner. Alright, now we're going to go into our cad yellow. And we'll pick up just a little bit, very little bit of the phthalo green, maybe a little of the yellow ochre. And we're going to put these colors on the tip of the brush. Just loading that brush, loading the tip of it. As you can see on the camera here, we're just loading the tip of the brush. Then we want to come up and just start adding a little highlights here on our bushes. And we just want to be careful not to kill all the dark. And you can come over and get you a little of the Indian yellow. And just mix all these colors right on the brush. Just like so. You can come over and get some of the bright red. You can come in there and do your, ooh, boy, that set the world on fire. Wow. I'm telling you, that bright red jumped out there. Well, since it's there, let's not hide it. We'll come back into our yellow. Since we got a little of that red on the brush, it's probably going to orange us down a little, which is fine. We just don't want to kill all our dark colors. We pick us up a little more green. Alright, that's a little too much green. It's wanting to hide. So there we go. Alright, we'll pick us up a little more Indian yellow. A little more yellow ochre. Just like so. Alright, now we'll come in here, and this time we're going to load the brush sideways, and we're going to tap some of the sap green straight onto the brush. And we're just going to come up here and just tap us a line across here. That's all we're doing. Just tapping us a line in here. And if you want to add some more dimension to that color, get up there and get you some of that mountain mix and that brown that you were using. Just bring it in. And all that'll do is give your It'll give your ground some depth. So when we come back to do the highlights, it'll hide some of the color. Alright, and we'll knock the paint out of this brush best we can. Pick us up just a little bit of thinner. We'll come back into our yellow. Now with all those colors on it, that yellow's gonna get pretty contaminated. But we can come into our yellow ochres and our other colors. And just like that, we can come up and just start tapping us on some grassy colors or some highlights on our grass, just like so. That's all we're doing. Just leaving some of the dark green color in the in here, just to let it show differences in color. But just like that, we have a nice little, alright, let's knock the color out of the brush. We have a nice little grassy area there in front. Alright, now we're going to pick up our number 6 fan brush, and we'll take that fan brush and we'll go right into some Van Dyke Brown and some dark sienna and some sap green. And we want to come right out here to the side of our mountain and just tap straight down. Give yourself a little trunk there to use as a guide. Then load your brush up again. Now the evergreens we're going to do today, we're going to push up. So what you want to do is, rather than start up here on your very tip and messing it up, drop down from your tip a little bit and just touch straight in. That's all you got to do first. You don't have to push up or down when you first start. Just push in to get you a starting spot. And you can do that again. And then once you drop down some, you can start just kind of pushing up. Just drop down a little and push up, drop down a little and push up, and that's all you're going to do all the way down the tree. Is just drop down and push up all the way down the tree, just like so. And then pick you up a little more of the Van Dyke Brown, a little more of the dark sienna, a little more of the sap green, we'll come on this side, and on this side we'll add one a little bit taller. Just remember, when you first start, just find your spot, make your little tap. Those first couple taps don't have to be pushed up or down, because way up at the top of that tree, you're not really gonna see a whole lot of detail. Plus, we're gonna come back and put a little highlight up there anyway, so it'll all come out in the wash. You start getting low on paint, come back in, pick you up some more, come back up, and tap all the way down. That's all you're doing. Just lifting the brush up. Alright, we'll get some more paint. And we will do that one more time over here on this side. We'll make him just a little bit taller. We'll pick us up some sap green. I hope I'm not, I know I got a big old hands, they're probably all in the way, you probably can't see what I'm doing here. But that's all I did, was just the same thing we did on this tree, I did on those. I tell you what, we'll go ahead and do another one on this side. Because the tree I was going to do, we'll still do it. Because it's really the tree I wanted you guys to see today anyway. I mean, these evergreens here, I'm pretty sure y'all already know how to do them. They're pretty typical in this style of painting. I think everybody that paints on YouTube just about shows you how to do these. This one over here, we'll kind of skimp out on him. He'll have a couple bare spots on him. That way it'll be just a little different. He'll have a lot of spots that the squirrels can come play in. Alright, just like that. Alright, now I will knock the color out of the brush. I'm trying to do this kinda fast. I hope I'm not going too fast. But I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it so slow that it takes a long time and makes the video too long. Because it seems that the longer the video, the more bored you get. And I'd like for y'all to enjoy it. All right, I am going to take the time to put out a little more cad yellow, because we'll be needing it. All right. I didn't put none of these colors out really, just very little. Alright, I'm going to come right into the cad yellow. Now a lot of those other colors are mixed into that pile, but it don't matter at what we're doing right here. It's not really gonna affect us. Alright, but before we do that, oh man, I almost messed up. Let's get us a little of the dark sienna and a little of the white and mix them together. I'm glad I thought of this, because I sure almost messed up. I'm going to come up here and just barely touch and put us in a trunk. Just put us in a trunk to where when we go to highlighting, we can still tell it's a tree. About like so. That's all we need. And all I did was just lightly touch that to the color that was already there. Just a dark sienna and white mix. But now with this color I got on the brush, it's starting out more yellow, but it will pick up the color that's up here, and as it goes picking up that color, it'll get a little darker down at the bottom, and that's what we want it to do. But now this is just a light touch. It don't take a lot of color to do what we're trying to do here. It don't take a lot of color at all. Something about like it. we'll come in on this other tree and we'll do it the same way. We'll come in and touch our color up. You can see it. You can see it starting to pick those other colors up. And when it does, it kind of adds to the effect. So that's one reason you don't ever really want to fight that effect, is because it just kind of happens naturally. All right, then we will. Well, gee, I am glad that this is not a paint and sniff kind of video, because I added new thinner tonight, and for some reason it's a lot stronger than it's been. I think once this paint's done, I'm going to set this stuff outside for the night. It is strong. I know it's the same kind I've been getting. I don't know if they mixed it different or what, but I got the door open. That helped a lot. Alright. And we'll pick us up a little more. And I'm highlighting these trees the same way that we made them. Just touching and pushing up on that brush and just let those bristles bend upwards. That's all I'm doing. Just letting them bend right up. Just like so. Alright. And then, yeah, we'll knock this color out of our brush, because we are going to need to wash it for this next tree. Alright, on our next tree, we are going to use a filbert brush. And the filbert brush is it's a brush with a rounded head. This don't actually say what size. It's not real big, but I mean it's not too small either, I guess. Alright, we're going to go right into our Van Dyke Brown on both sides of this little filbert. And we're going to load us up some dark sienna. We'll just mix those two colors together right on the brush. And we are going to come, let's say right here. We're going to go completely off the canvas. And we're going to come straight down, kind of at an angle. Alright, we picked us up a lot of the white out of our highlight on the mountain. So to fix that, we're going to bring this tree all the way through our painting. All the way from the top, all the way to the bottom. Just like so. And we brought it in here kind of at an angle. Just like so. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to take us some white, and we are going to take us some Indian yellow, and we're going to mix these two colors together. And this is going to be a real good highlight color to use. From here, I'm going to say that my light is on this side, because the highlight on the mountain's on that side. So, alright, we're going to pull it flat. And pick us up a little roll. And we're going to come up to this tree. And we're not going to go up the whole tree. We're just going to pick us out a spot here. And we want this spot to be extra bright. And we're just going to just find that one spot there. And we want to tap this color in. Just tap it. Just tap that color in. Now as this color goes to picking up a little dark, kind of working on around your tree here to kind of give your tree a roundness shape. Just like so. About like that is what we're looking for. Just kind of working on around. That's all we're looking for. And then to get the rest of the highlights on there, we want to pick us up just a little bit of white. Very little bit of white by itself, and just bring it up here and just kind of tap it on. And bring it around. And just work that white on up until it starts picking up other colors, and it'll eventually just go away. As the more it picks up the brown and the yellow, it'll just eventually fade out, and that's what we're looking for. We don't want it real bright. We just want it to be a highlight color, about like so. And you can come up and bring it on over, about like that. And then you can use that same color to finish out the top of your tree. Doing it the same way. Just let it pick up a little of that brown and just work it on around. Well, that was a rhyme. Pick up some brown and move it around. About like that right there is all we're looking for. And you're going to pick up a little bit more of that yellow color to kind of just make it zing. You can right through here. And then bring this color on around. And just kind of let it fade out as it gets away from the sunlight and works its way back around the tree. About like so. Alright, then you want to come in and pick you up a little phthalo blue. Very little. It's not going to take a lot. And then on this outside edge here, just come up. It's hard to see it that way. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll pick it up on the top side of our blade. And we'll come up and just touch that phthalo blue. And just let it just stay on the outside edge first. Before we start worrying about working it in. We want to stay on our outer edge. And then just kind of come up. And kind of just work it in as your reflective blue color, like reflective light. And that'll give you another dimension here. Helps out with the tree looking three-dimensional. And just kind of work it out as you go up. Just have to be careful not to let your tree get real big on you. Kind of like on those mountains, oh, I need to shut up, pay attention, because I just did that. Well, it'll grow on you. And before you know it, you got a tree that's done took up half your canvas. Alright, just like so. Alright. Then we want to pick up our script liner brush. And on our script liner brush, we want to go right into that same color, that brown and dark sienna color that we had up here mixed. And we can start up here at the top. And we just kind of want to come off the tree and drop down a little and bring out a limb. That's all we want to do. Just bring us out a little limb. And then do the same thing on this side. And if you can shake your hand a little, it helps some. It'll give it that look. Alright, then we'll come out here on this side. And we'll come down. And we'll come across our mountain here. Which now when you're coming across that mountain, don't forget you got that white in there. And it's going to want to pick it up. So you'll have to rely on the thinner and that trick about the thin paint sticking to a thick paint. You'll have to really pay attention to that right in here. Or else it'll blend you in before you know it. Alright, come on down the mountain. On down the tree. Kick you out another little limb. Let it run on off. About like so. And we'll do it again over here. Just kick us off another one. And over here. I ain't real crazy about how that one worked out. Alright. We'll bring it on down the tree. And then along the tree here, you can kick out little dead limbs. Just kind of let them hang off the tree. All right, now, next thing we're going to do is a little trick that will help us out tremendously. And we do that with a very small bristle brush here. We come up with the color that we used as our shadow on our mountain. I want to pick a little of that color up. I want to come up here and just barely start tapping down the outer edge of the tree to where the banks were. Just tap all the way down. Over here where the line meets the brown, just kind of tap that down. Just tap these colors in. Just kind of blend, and that's all I'm doing is straight tapping. I'm not pulling, or I'm not blending. And then right here where those two colors meet, just kind of tap them in, and just kind of let your colors blend to get that smoothness. And if one color starts trying to take over another color, you can always stop and pull a little of the color out. You can always go back in here and pick you up a little of one or a little of the other. Do whatever you need to do to make it work. That's all you want to do is just kind of come up here and give that tree some texture. Make your colors just kind of work together. About like so. And that's all you need for this big dead tree to just kind of sit in here and be a part of our painting. And of course, the more you play with a tree, the better you can make it look. But that's what I was going for today, and I just wanted y'all to kind of see how you do it. Don't take a lot to, do a little simple landscape painting like this. But just like that, we've done a mountain, we got some background trees, we got some foreground trees, we got a big huge dead fir tree. And if you didn't want it to be dead, you could come out here and put you some green on the limbs with the fan brush, doing it just like this. Just tap them on. But I wanted mine to be dead, and hope y'all enjoyed that. I mean, it was something kind of different and something quick. Have a good night.